Hello, my fellow Lymphies. Welcome back to another episode, another video of yours truly, Mr. Half Man, Half Amazing, Kevin Baptiste, discussing my life with lymphedema, the ups, the downs, transformations, the good, the bad, the indifferent, stress, the love, the hate, the whole spectrum of things that come along with life, love, and lymphedema. Whew. Yeah, it's a bunch. So when we last left off, in the previous episode, I was discussing, I just got, they finagled the bagel, got me home, and then I'm home now with 2 walkers. How do you end up with 2 walkers? And we only heard about 1 walker that you despised at the time. And then you had the industrial walker, which you couldn't take, which is the one you liked. How did you wind up with 2, my friend? So let's go back to the way back. So I think I touched upon it briefly. I didn't even talk about it briefly. I didn't even talk about it in the first video. So when this whole thing started, about a year and a half ago, I wound up going to the hospital originally for the cellulitis. I didn't stay. That was around Thanksgiving time. I wanted to be home and see my son. That was just my will, my determination, all that brought me home. And my ignorance to I would say ignorance than everything else brought me home. So it was good to come home. It was good to be home, but it sucked to be home. Because that's what started. So it was the hospital. I ended up getting the hospital at home program. I don't know if they have that in your city wherever you're watching this, but if you have, I'm for that. If you have the chance to get that wherever you are. If they give you an option wherever you live in your town, city, state, whatever. If there's any hospitals or insurances that offer that, jump on that, but also have at the same time, I hope you have family or someone around you to where you could really benefit from that. Whether it be your spouse, your older children, brother, sister, husband, you know what I mean? That benefits you more, along with the hospital at home program as well. Okay, but so they realized that walking was still a hard thing for me, right? So, but they still sent me home, but they sent me home with a walker, in hopes that I'd be, because I was able to use the walker to get out of there. Yeah, Byron, they had me go from the bed from the bed to the hallway and back. They had me do it two or 3 times, to make sure I was able to do it. I did it, And then when I got home that day, or a couple days later, there was a walker there for me. Now, it was smaller. It was for the average size human. I'm not your average size human. I'm a big boy. I like big boys. Take that back. I like being a big boy. I'm a big boy. I like being a big boy. Especially in the wintertime, because cuffing season is for real for me. Anyways, but I'm a big boy. I enjoy that. Anyways, so when the walker, when I got home, was not built for me, and I was not built for it. So that didn't help me. That annoyed me, and I needed my I needed my niece's boyfriend to help get me up and walk me to my room, because I was in that much pain and that out of it, because with the cellulitis, I had flu symptoms. Then my body was weak, and then on top of that, I really couldn't walk. So it was just a bag full of cats messed up. And then so as that progressed, I wasn't I couldn't get up to go to the bathroom. So I ended up having a urinal and using old Tupperware to go pooping, because I couldn't get up. Yeah, I could admit that, and that sucked. Being a grown man and not being able to do any of that, that embarrassing, hurt the pride, all that stuff. And I'm sharing with you, so sharing with the world. But that's real. I want people to understand, and other people, if you want to share your, be free to share your story. Let me know, what you're going through, because, probably gone through similar stuff. Maybe not like that, or you have, I don't know. But, I wasn't, like I said, at that moment in time, I was using old Tupperware and stuff like that, and it was embarrassing. So then I ended up going to the hospital, finally, a couple of days before Christmas Eve, and the doctor told me that if I didn't go to the hospital then, I probably wouldn't have made it to Christmas. Yeah, real talk. I wouldn't have, because I found out I had two pulmonary embolisms, which is two blood clots in the lungs. Yeah. So that wouldn't have been a good look. I wouldn't be here doing this with you right now. Sharing. No, remember, sharing's caring. But I wouldn't be here to share my story. And so now, being in the hospital, now mind you, I didn't take that. This is after being home and being bedridden for so long, and not really and not moving. That's how and where I developed the blood clots in my lungs, in my lower lung at that time. Excuse me. Now from there, then going to I wasn't able to stand at all. Not even a little bit. I couldn't do it. I had a physical therapist, occupational therapist, both come in trying to help me stand. I wasn't doing it. Was not doing it at all. My body was like, no, right? So my brother and my nephew come in. They prayed. My nephew, powerful little boy, prayed. And after he did that, both the therapist and the occupational therapist and the physical therapist came in, and we did a little workout, and then they wanted to see if I could stand up. So what they did is that they put a harness around me, and then all three of us, so they pulled and I stood up and I stood up I stood up for almost like 30 seconds, and that was like, whoa. Fell back down. I was like, I felt like I ran a marathon. And then and at that time I was in the hospital for about almost a week at that time. And once again, that was during the height of COVID and stuff like that. And I learned a lot about the hospital and the medical staff and stuff like that. Like that being in a hospital during that time, see a lot of things. It was weird. No, it was not weird. It was sad to see families huddled in the hallways, trying to comfort a loved one because they weren't feeling well, because not enough rooms and not enough staff. That was sad to see. And to see that, and then there was a point there where I was all alone in the hallway. And because of the security for what they were doing because of COVID, it was crazy. So they weren't just letting anybody in. So I had that, I'd have cousins who want to see me. They weren't allowed in. They weren't allowed in the back. So for like at least 2 hours, would seem like an eternity at the time. I was in the back hallway of a hospital. It was like by the ambulance dock, but it seemed like just the regular maintenance dock, but it was an ambulance dock. I was over there by myself, and it was, oh my God, it was heartbreaking. Well, for me, because I'm like I don't want to be here. I'm praying God, don't take me now, don't take me here, because everything that's going on, I don't want to die alone in a hospital hallway. Who wants that to happen? Now I gotta get adjusted here, busy life. Anyways, so finally, before maybe like a couple days before I left, my brother and my nephew show up again. Yeah, my brother is protective. God forbid anyone who, he may get mad at me, but God forbid anyone that he feels wrong me. So he went into the administration, was like, yo, what's going on, man? My brother wants to walk. He wants to go to rehab. Like, yo, what are we doing here? And they're like, oh, well, he was like, nah, he needs to get out of here. Like, yo, somebody gonna tell me something. I want to know something. I want not in an hour, not in 15 minutes. I want to know something now. Because if I don't know something now, I'm making a phone call and I'm definitely gonna know something. Right? So then the lady, the case, the big case, actually no, the overall case manager, something like that, she came to see me, to speak with me, actually to speak with my brother. And so she was talking to him, and then she also got a walker for me, which is the I still have now, which is like a reminder of like Batman, how he has all the trophies and stuff around, but it's a reminder of how far I've come. And it may sound silly, like why you look at it that way, because first of all, it was a blessing, to get that. because of everything I've told you so far, and everything I'm going to share, you'll understand why. Maybe not in this video, but as time goes on, you'll understand why the walker was a blessing. So now, she gave me the walker, and I was actually able to stand up twice with the walker. That same day that my brother and nephew were there, and the same day that he taught the hospital's managing staff or people, he taught them a polite no. Like went up side one, went up side down, went up side A, came down side B. Anyways, so she went and personally grabbed me a walker. Said, listen, you know what? Take this with you. This is yours. It's going to help you, right? This is what we're going to do, right? So I was like, thank you. Gave her hugs, gave her a hug, kiss on the cheek. You know what I mean? Because never seen nothing like that before. Especially from the medical staff. And then the occupational therapist and the physical therapist came in. They were like, well, you know what? Now that we have a walker, we want to see if you could stand up with it. Because you standing up with the walker is also going to be dependent on if you're going to be able to go to therapy or not, because you have to be able to transition, right? So not only did I stand up, I stood up twice. The first one was for like 30-40 minutes. The second one was like for 20. The first one was for like 30-40 seconds, and the last one was like for 20-30 seconds. And those two moments right there is what solidified it, because she was able to the manager, hotel manager, hospital manager was able to see my commitment in it and my dedication and how serious I was. So that propelled the process forward and how everything went. So now since last video, I already told you about what happened there at the rehab facility. Their 14 days, COVID 10. Riding around in the wheelchair like a transformer, then getting sent home. Now, the day I got home, I was tight because I could use. Now, mind you, the day I got home, I had to use the walker, but I was shaky to use the walker. Using the walker, right? That's the one I got from the one that the lady from the hospital gave me. I was shaky to use that. All right, because like I said, I'm a big dude, and I didn't think the walker was still gonna hold me, all this other stuff. So then the traveling physical therapist, he showed up. This dude was like, he was an angel on earth. He still is. But so funny story real quick is that the lady, the occupational therapist who came moments before, who came before him, had to get me stand up. And I was cussing, swearing, no, I ain't doing that. I'm like, F that walker, I ain't doing that, man. It's not gonna hold me. I need a walker, da 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 da. I was done. I was not having it. So that time was up. She was leaving as a physical therapist was coming in. He came in, and then she was like, oh, good luck. And then he was like, what do you mean? she was like, oh, he don't want to do nothing, da 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 da. So old boy gets upstairs. He comes upstairs. He's like, what's the problem? I was like, yeah. I was like, well, I was like, the first walker, the smaller walker, has wheels on it. Like, and then the one they got me don't have wheels on it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I'm like, and then like, it's wobbly. Like, I don't want to do it. Then he was like, Kevin, you have to do, because if you don't do it, you're gonna wind up in the same situation you were before. So we got to figure something out. I was like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm like, I need that. I'm like, I need that industrial walker. Da 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 da. So he was like, hold on. He's right. So he took the wheels off the old one and then put them on the ones that the lady gave me. And then he's like, do me a favor. He was like, shut up and walk to the bathroom. I was like, what? He was like, shut up and walk to the bathroom. So I'm doing it, and then he was like, I was like, I'm still talking shit. But he was like, Kevin, do you realize where you are right now? I was like, yeah, I'm by the bathroom, but still, I'm like, motherfucker. He was like, but you at the bathroom. He was like, so this is what we gonna do. He was like, from here on out, he was like, I want you to go back and forth to the bathroom. He was like, I want you to walk every day with this. Every day. He was like, I want you doing laps around this apartment. And that's what I was doing. I was doing laps. Enough so that even my niece, like, she was on me about that. Like, she's like, nah, Uncle Kevin, I want you to get up. She's like, you gotta do stuff, this and that. She was like, I don't ever want to see you do it that way again. So she was like, so she was like, she was a good ride or die niece that way, So, yeah. So that little, that walker there, that you see in the videos, that whole situation when I first got home, that plays a very important part in me. It's to the point, so it's even in back of my truck now, because my dad, he has some issues. So from time to time, like, when he comes out, like, he'll use mine, because at points in time, my walker is actually in better condition than his. and I like, it's not funny, but you got to understand the dynamic, because I don't know, that situation and story for another day. Don't get me wrong, I love my father. He a good dude. I haven't always been the greatest son to him, but he's always been a good dad to me. But anyways, so yeah, that's the transformation. You gotta understand that, like, there are times where us with lymphedema, we go through darkness, but the darkness is what everybody goes through. Everybody in life goes through darkness, but it just seems that ours may be a little severe in some ways compared to others, but we all go through it, and it sucks. I know it does, but it's just that now we can't live there. We have to understand the situation. Some ways be grateful for the situation, but now to move forward. But like I said, don't get me wrong. Like, it was, that whole situation was a crappy situation. Crappy. But I'm thankful for the situation. At the same time, it sucked, but I'm thankful for it. It gave me a lot of insight. It actually let me know how strong I am, mentally and physically. And even now, like, there's some ways where, for whatever reason, like, well, no, I'm still not 100%, like, but it's the fact that I'm still going forward. There's still exercises, still things I'm learning about myself, still things I'm doing. And that, and I can say that has to be some of the biggest stuff, some of the biggest things that we should strive for. And I can't stress that enough. I really can't. Because everything I was going through, that was a tough time. Because even though I had the walker, it was like, how do I cook? How do I carry stuff from the kitchen to the couch, the kitchen to the recliner, which happened to be a lift chair. I had my physical therapist was so deep and so ill that he had me do squats off the lift chair, and then he encouraged my niece to measure it. Like, it was crazy. Yeah. Listen, man, the stuff I was going through to learn to make sure I was mobile again, it's not for the lighthearted, man. It's not. It's funny, and it's great. At the time, it seemed wicked. Like I said, the occupational therapist, the physical therapist, and my niece were like all on the same page. Like, they were on me. They were on me like white on rice on some things, man. Like, so even the normal workouts that you saw me doing on the YouTube channel, or in the videos with the walker, if my niece didn't see me do it, if she didn't see me do it at least twice, she was yelling at me to get it done. Right? She was on me like, nah, Uncle Kevin, come on. Just because you don't see them today, that don't mean you got a day off. You got to do it as well. I'm like, I'm like, yo, I'm the adult here. but she was on me, and so God bless her for that. It's crazy. So, but it's good. It's good to have people like that. People who got your back in that sense. So, you got to make that a priority, a staple when everything you're going through. It gotta be, because oftentimes we put ourselves in a situation where we're alone, or we're not necessarily are alone. So we can be an extrovert, but naturally an extrovert, but because of the lymphedema, become an introvert. Because we don't want to be seen because of what we have, or don't want to take care of ourselves because of what we have. And we got to break out of that shell. We have to. And I'll talk about that in another videos, how to break out of that shell. Well, what I did, each time was a transformation. One time, leaving the country, and my uncle, he told me some real stuff, that had me walking his land in Trinidad, because I wasn't I needed to get away. I did. So I was going through a lot mentally and physically. I like it was just a lot. So the fact that I had left, but it was good because when I left, like, you know, yeah, it was harsh, but everybody needs that, and I got that tough love. But like, you know, but the key word in there is love. So I got the tough love, some understanding, like, you know, some grown folk conversation, you know, then came back, you know, and like, you know, got my life popping, got my life going. Now, here we are, you know, like I said, that was going forward. I'm like, you know, I'm sharing things about my life and the, you know, the past to also talk about the future, because now, like, you know, I don't like I said, I drive, you know, I pick my son up, I go to his games, his lacrosse, his football games, I go to his practices, you know, I still see my brothers, my nephews, you know, I still go to the gym, you know, I go shopping when I can, you know, it's not, shoot, I still go out to eat, you know, still go to the movies. I mean, it's you know, the stuff that we take for granted by not doing versus the stuff we do. So now it just becomes repetitive, you know. And then also, like, you know, also we got to look at what keeps us going. You know, what's in here for you. Everybody's is different. You know, but you just got to find it. And for me, it was the fact of, you know, I want to be able to, like, I think for me it was it's my son. I enjoy being a dad. Like, you know, I wish there was so much more I could give him and do for him. But what we do and what we do, what the things we do and the fun we have is just priceless. You know, it really is. And it's like, it's fun to know I have that with him, and it warms my heart to know he enjoys that as well. I don't know, but all right, that's it for this for right now. I'm going to there'll be more videos. All right, so thank you. Yeah. I'll be back now. Let me not do that because, you know, lawsuits and all other stuff. But yeah, now as for right now, I'm out. You know, there's other stuff I gotta catch up on. So fellow lymphies out there, you continue doing it. Just know you're not alone. Hit me up. You know, half man, half amazing 1212@gmail.com. You know, it's like, you know, let's be there for each other. You know, I mean, support goes a long way. It really does, especially with what we have. Support goes a long way. All right. Support me, I support you. All right. Goodbye.